All honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS whom I learned from. Shalom to the hopeful elect, preaching this word in truth and sincerity. To you rich Jesus out there learning in silence and staying in order. Right, so as some of you might know, Mexico is about to join the BRICS, basically China, Russia, and all of them, which is no surprise the way that Babylon deals with Mexico. Bad relationships since the beginning of what they know as Mexico. Mexico once owned Texas and Arizona and all those places. There was a war over it, so it's been bad blood with Babylon since the beginning. So it's no wonder why they would join BRICS, right? So we're going to read on into this. It says how Mexico's admission to BRICS could impact national security. Now so Babylon's nervous, right? All of a sudden you want to treat people like shit, and you want to imprison the children and hold them indefinitely, and talk shit about the citizens and everything. And now all of a sudden you scared, right? It says here the rundown. Recent proposals by Republicans in the U.S. Congress for military intervention in Mexico's cartel war have created controversy between the two countries, right? So they're making it seem like it has to do with the cartels and the drugs, but the U.S. wasn't saying nothing when the Colombians was bringing in cocaine by the tons. We have known that the CIA had a hand in bringing in cocaine to minorities in the U.S. In the crack pandemic. You look that up, right? So all of a sudden now Mexico's cartel issue is a problem, right? No, it's because they might join BRICS. That's the real problem. But they're gonna make it seem like it's a cartel issue, right? As if the cartels cross the border and commit murders, where they have the cartels have a structure and order where they don't touch Americans for that same reason, right? So this is bullshit. All right, reading on, it says Congress for military intervention in Mexico's cartel war have been created controversy between the two countries. Mexican President Andres Obrador has stated that foreign intervention will not be welcome and called such suggestion irresponsible. As a result, the Mexican government has renewed its interest in joining BRICS, which could lead to a trade and diplomatic complexity with the U.S. in the future, right? So same thing that happened with Cuba, the embargo and all that, where they circled the island and not let any suppliers in. They're gonna try to do that to Mexico, which they probably won't be able to do. Seeing that the country is pretty big, and there's also land connecting North America to South America, which allows for transportation of goods, right? Because we got Brazil that joined BRICS. Not sure how many other South American countries joined BRICS, but it's going to be real tough. Right, it says the background. Mexico is the second largest economic power in Latin America, with a significant GDP and purchasing power that makes a crucial gateway to the North American market. Despite having differences regarding immigration and trade, both Mexico and U.S. have maintained a cordial relationship, which has been mutually beneficial. Cordial, right? It's an understatement. It was more like a business partnership where the U.S. gets over on Mexico, and the people get nothing, right? Which has been mutual beneficial. In December 2022, the two countries celebrate 200 years of diplomatic relations that have encompassed commercial, cultural, and educational ties. Well, I mean, it depends on who you're asking, right? Because the people over there are poor as hell, man. They're hurting, and they're giving Mexico crumbs. right? So why you think that Mexico is gonna leave? There's no loyalty to the U.S. Loyalty doesn't, in their eyes, the loyalty, the U.S. don't deserve an ounce of loyalty, and that's why they're so quick to leave, right? I mean, if I was the president, I'd do the same thing. You know, the people of U.S. have no respect for the hardworking Ishikarites down there, right? The poor families, the children that are just basically, literally, almost dying to get over here, just to send money back to the family. Like, come on, man. It says, however, recent cartels killings of American citizens near the U.S. border have strained the relationship between Mexico and the U.S. Well, that's bullshit because they haven't really killed any of the U.S. Citizens. They killed people that lived in the U.S. who either joined the cartel or joined a rival cartel or worked for the cartel and turned state. So those are criminals trying to, get over on the system by joining and then going left and getting killed. It's not like they just randomly killing citizens. So this is a lie already, right? They said, however, recent cartel killings of American citizens near the U.S. border have strained the relationship between Mexico and the U.S. Some Republican members of the U.S. House of Representatives have used this tragedy to call for U.S. intervention, right? Because Esau says that never let a crisis go to waste, right? They will cease. They will try to use any situation to cause harm or take what they want, man. They lie in wait. They lie in wait. So they pray. Says some Republican members of the U.S. House of Representatives have used this strategy to call for U.S. military intervention, including the option of invading Mexico to attack the cartels. Come on, man. You know what happens when the U.S. invades a country? They disregard the old and the young, as it says in Deuteronomy 28, right? Like kids suffer, grandmas, everything. Everybody gets it. I don't think the U.S. wants to take that route because you have a lot of Hispanics here in the U.S. and I'm pretty sure that they won't be happy about that. Shit's gonna go left real quick. It says in response, Mexican President Andres Obrador deemed the proposal irresponsible and stated that Mexico would not permit a foreign power to intervene. Right? Because now, with these threats, you're gonna involve China and Russia, right? Because Japan's leaving the U.S. dollar. Those are rumors that's circulating as well. So what happens with that is that now Taiwan is going to be surrounded, which is a U.S. Interest, which really is just going to get taken over because they can't do shit about it. But here you are thinking you could pick on Mexico, But Yahweh Shem Yahshua, man, man, he ain't gonna let that happen, man. Lord willing. Because the U.S. is losing the grips of society and power, man. But we know that Esau is the end of all things and Jacob is the beginning thereof. So we're just patiently waiting for that, man. It says, as a result of these repeated calls for U.S. military intervention, Mexico has expressed renewed interest in joining BRICS, an economic partnership between Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Although the partnership with BRICS would mainly be economic, it could make the U.S. Congress more cautious in its dealings and statements towards Mexico diplomat. Why can't I read this word? diplomatically, as well as diversify Mexico's foreign relationships and increase its global influence. Although the BRICS organization does not have any formal criteria for processing or admitting new members, it has stated that it could expand by 5 countries in 2023, right? Which we are in 2023. Mexico has previously participated in several BRICS summits as an observer and a guest, putting the country in prime position to one of the potential 5 expansion countries. And the U.S. sees that, right? And the U.S. sees that as a threat, right? And I'm glad, right? Old virgin daughter of Babylon. People looking up your skirt. They're looking. They right at they're at your knees, man. Right? It says while joining BRICS could be positive for Mexico economically and globally, it may cause concerns for the U.S. having economic and power rivals such as Russia and China, with close economic and political ties with Mexico, could influence how the U.S. has to deal with Mexico in the future and could provide these rivals with easier access to the U.S. market. The only issue with that is that um, look how far China and Russia is compared to the U.S. You know, they would have to send ships to South America to be able to, you know, help Mexico. But that's neither here nor there. The third world's coming and it's coming quick, and the U.S. is gonna get flatlined. It says Mexico and China have a strong trade relationship, with China making significant investments in Mexico over the past 5 years. Chinese exports to Mexico rose by 28% between January 22 and August 22, making China Mexico's second largest import partner after the U.S. More than 1,200 Chinese companies have invested in Mexico, including Ganfeng Lithium, which was granted access to lithium mine on in Sonora initially. President Obrador wanted to review Congress concessions to the mine's lithium deposits in favor of neutralizing company, but he chose to relax the review process for Gangfang, creating a mutual solution in 21. Over 50% of the $10.08 wait, Salakia. I read that wrong. It says of the 9.08 billion. I was talking about $9. The way they wrote it, it says 9.08 billion of exports from Mexico to China were ores. And if Mexico were to be admitted to BRICS, the value of ore exports could increase further. Right? So this would actually make Mexico a more wealthier country. Right? Of course they're going to join BRICS. Right? But we have Brazil, who's part of BRICS, and they're still poor. So who's to say? I mean, these Gentiles ain't gonna treat anyone better anyway, right? It says while the trade relationships between Mexico and China has been positive, Mexico has maintained a neutral political stance towards China. However, Mexico has expressed concern about China's human rights practices, right? Significantly with regards to the treatment of Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang. In 2020, Mexico was among 39 countries that signed a joint statement at the United Nations expressing concerns about the treatment of Uyghur Muslims and urging independent observers to investigate the situation in Xinjiang. Despite this, Mexico has maintained a positive relationship with China, and trade has not been impacted. So, the Uyghur Muslims were basically kicked out of a land and secluded into a slum, so to speak. They got pushed out, not even considered citizens anymore for their Muslim beliefs. It says Mexico and Russia have developed a strong economic partnership, with Mexico ranking as Russia's third largest trading partner in Latin America. Their relationship is mainly based on cooperation in the oil and gas sectors. Russian multinational companies such as Gazprom Marketing and Trading Mexico and Rosatom International have invested in Mexico. Gazprom is the state-owned energy company involved in natural gas sales and distribution, while Rosatom is a state-owned nuclear energy company involved in nuclear power plant developed and construction in Mexico. Unlike the U.S., Mexico has not imposed any sanctions on Russia. The two countries have maintained a positive diplomatic relationship since 1924. So you get the gist of it. I'm not going to keep reading all this. Um, just know that the U.S. is desperate. Babylon's desperate. And everybody's about to turn their back on us whore. All right? Call hello, Yahweh, Shem Yahweh for that, man. With that, I'm going to say shalom.